Welcome everyone. This is Stephen Hall, also known as Reiki Man. Today we're going to interview Marnie Vincolisi. And Marnie is a very experienced Reiki Master. Marnie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Golly, where to start? My practice is really geared towards empowering people to know that they can make a difference in their lives, and the energy that I channel into them during that hour of practice, during that treatment, is to support their own inner being and to raise the vibration of their body, and from there they can move forward. So that's how I see the practice. And of course the teaching teaches people how to discover that power that's within them.
That's great. There are different types of Reiki. Can you tell us a little bit about your brand or your style of Reiki?
My style of Reiki. I feel that everyone has their own style of Reiki. Of course, there's traditional and non-traditional Reiki. Traditional Reiki has a lineage from Takata, and Takata was the woman that brought Reiki here to America. Asui was the originator.
Yes.
Then we have Chijiro Hayashi.
Yes.
And then Takata. So traditional Reiki follows the lineage of Takata. It's sometimes a little bit more strict, following things in a particular order. Where non-traditional Reiki came in about the 1980s, it was still channeled energy, and I feel non-traditional honors the individual a little bit more from my standpoint, and I could be wrong on that, but from my standpoint, as I see non-traditional Reiki, I see you bringing in your own energy, dovetailing with Reiki, because my feeling is the only person that has Asui Reiki, the original Reiki, is Asui. Okay. He's the one that brought it in. That was his energy. Everyone else who's learned it since has channeled that divine light of Reiki, but they've also added their divine light, their essence, their knowledge of the divine spirit, and that dovetails with it and makes it their own individual Reiki.
So the individual kind of acts as a filter for the energy? Is that how?
I would say so. You know, we're all bringing in the light, but it depends on how big is that channel that's coming in. If we take a water pipe and we put water through it, but one pipe is very, very rusty, you're not going to have quite the flow that you would have in a clean, clear, brand new pipe. So the importance of doing self-Reiki when you're a practitioner, continuing to do Reiki on yourself on a continual basis. It doesn't have to be every day. It's sort of fun if it is, but if you don't have time, also doing Reiki 2-3 times a week will help keep your channel clear so that you're bringing in the clearest, strongest energy that you can.
Okay. And does a person just apply Reiki to themselves or maybe another person?
You can apply it to other people. You can apply it to your plants, to your animals. I teach how to apply it to traffic, using it on airplanes. I travel back and forth a lot to Denver, and we have a lot of wind shears out in Denver, and it gets pretty rocky. And so I teach how you can use the Reiki energy to steady out the plane, and it works all the time. And that's one point I want to bring out about Reiki, is Reiki works 100% of the time. Absolutely, always, 100% of the time. Because it works on all 4 bodies. It just doesn't work on your physical body. So if you have a rash, someone does Reiki on you, the rash doesn't seem to go away, so how can we think that Reiki works all the time? The Reiki energy that came in just might be working on the spiritual body, the mental body, or the emotional body. So even though the rash is still there, and a rash is just irritation, the Reiki probably brought in a new perspective for that person so that they can see how the irritating energy that's created this rash in their life in the first place is a little bit different. Or perhaps spiritually they might awaken, and that doesn't necessarily mean that an angel will appear. When we spiritually awaken, it could be just as something as simple as walking outside and looking at nature and going, oh, what a beautiful day. I can hear the birds. I didn't hear the birds yesterday. The colors seem brighter. That's a spiritual awakening. So in that sense, Reiki does work 100% of the time, every time you use it.
Well, that's great. Now you mentioned some different bodies, and you just touched upon some of the others. We all know about the physical body. Can you give us some examples of what may be part of, say, the emotional body or the others?
Okay, when you think about your aura, some people talk about auras, your energy field, it's very real. Our physical body is real to us because we can touch it, but our emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies are just as real. If you just think about someone stepping into your space, coming and talking to you too close. I remember this from a Seinfeld episode. And in the Seinfeld episode, they talked about the close talker. And in there, Jerry's at a party, and of course, he comes back home and he's talking to all his friends, and they're saying, "Were you at that party? Did you see that guy?" Oh, the close talker. And of course, the guy appears, and even on the screen, when he comes in and he stands so close to Jerry, you can just see it, and you're going, "Ooh, that doesn't feel good." So that part of not feeling good when someone comes too close to you is actually because they are in one of your bodies, uninvited. And your emotional and mental body is when they step in that close. They've walked right through your spiritual body, because the spiritual body is out about as far as our fingertips. The mental body comes in a little bit closer, and the emotional body is just a few inches off your skin. All of these bodies need to be addressed because they're a viable part of us. So when we do healing, the difference with Reiki healing and other healings is Reiki addresses all of these bodies, which really gives you a deeper core healing.
Now, sometimes Reiki is applied with the hands touching the physical body, and sometimes it's off the body, or perhaps even at a distance, a great distance. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Correct. I feel Reiki with hands-on is a really good technique to use. We don't touch each other enough. And so in this society, it's really important to spend that hour with people and actually physically touching them, making them feel that physical touch. But as you're guided, and people follow their own guidance, sometimes you get a feeling that I need to back off a little bit here and just channel in the Reiki. And in my Reiki classes, I do a lot of different techniques with the students, and one of them is at the end of the treatment, after we've done hands-on and everyone's practiced doing hands-on on each other, I have them step back as the person is laying on the massage table and just channel or stream in the energy without touching them, stepping outside their energy field. And as they do that, the client usually feels a difference. They feel it coming in as waves. They might say, "Gee, that's really interesting. I can feel it all over my entire body." So there's different ways for it to be felt, and it's always following your own inner intuition that allows you to do Reiki in your own way, your own special way.
Marnie, can you tell us about some of the incidents that stand out in your practice?
Boy, there's so many. Over almost 2 decades of doing Reiki, so many things happen. I have so many stories that come back to me about people that have learned Reiki. I do remember one time when I went to a hospital and worked on a woman that was in a coma. And what was interesting was her husband wasn't metaphysical, certainly didn't understand anything that I was doing, and yet he could see a difference. I mean, this woman didn't speak, her eyes weren't open, and yet he could see the difference. He said, "Wow." He said, I can see her more at peace. So Reiki is pure divine love. So of course, channeling pure divine love into anyone or anything is going to make a difference. I also, you'd asked me earlier if we use it just on people. Animals are so responsive to Reiki, and I actually attuned a cat once.
Cat?
Oh, yes.
Oh, tell us about that.
Okay. He was coming in for treatments. Owner would bring him in every week. Yeah. And I picked up that part of the energy that he was channeling or bringing through his body, what made him sick, was he was bringing in the energy of the land. This was in Colorado at a 25-acre ranch, and on that ranch there used to be, years ago, many Native American Indian villages, and I really felt that he was picking up some of that energy. So I thought the best way to help him channel the energy through him rather than pick him up is to teach him Reiki and attune him to the energy of Reiki so that he would learn how to channel, because Reiki is bringing in the universal life force energy through our head, through our heart, and out our hands. So I attuned this little guy. Usually at a treatment, when I got done with the treatment, he would jump up and run around the room. He always seemed to know when it was done. Just right at the end of the hour, he would jump off the couch. I didn't have to stop. He stopped me. And when I did the attunement as well, as I attuned his little paws and his little head, when I was complete with the process, he knew it as well as I did, because he jumped off the couch and this time ran around the entire house.
Wow.
So, I teach people from all walks of life with Reiki, and I think it's just really important that people know that Reiki is not just something that you use for healing. You use it every day, at your work, at your job, even though it seems like it wouldn't be something that you would apply. One man was a plumber. He said, "Well, I'm not going to use this one, in my company." I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "Well," I take complaints. I said, "Do you feel tired at the end of the day?" Yes. I said, you think maybe you took on some of that energy from those people? Yes. Okay. Channel your Reiki right through your voice into the phone to those people and see their energy just going right through you. I tell people, be like glass. Imagine that you're just a sheet of glass, and when sunlight comes through the glass, it's sunlight on one side of the glass, it's sunlight on the other, the glass is still the same.
Okay.
So it's the same thing when you're working with negative situations.
Mm-hmm.
See the energy going right through you. You are still who you are, and you've just released it out.
Oh,
So it's a great way to keep that going.
sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. You've written some books. Can you tell us about your books?
I have. I've written 3 books. Finding Your Inner Gift is the first level of Reiki. It's also the knowledge to awaken the power with anyone. I want people to know that this isn't just about healing. It's about your inner power and how to find that, how to channel that energy and use it every day. The second level book is Inner Gifts Uncovered. It's a Reiki manual, but it's also a book that can be used for anyone that wants to empower themselves. You want to learn how to cut cords with people, release energies that you've taken on. Cording with people is like people push your buttons. You ever have people that...
Oh yeah, I think we all have.
Yes. That's actually a cord. That's actually an energy cord. So if you can release that energy cord, you can release that trigger from that person. So in here, I have illustrated step-by-step processes, not only words, but I love to bring in illustrations as well, so that you can see how to do it, not just verbally, but visually, because we all learn differently. And the third book is Claiming Your Inner Gifts. And it's Mastering Your Life and Reiki. In here we have inner child work, clearing energies, ghosts, entities, if you will, out of the house. Lots of different power techniques other than just Reiki. I just feel that Reiki, going along with other techniques, which I call life tools, just really empower you. And you can see more about these on my website, which is lightinternal.com.
Yes, and I might say that I've read the 3 books and they are amazing. They are far more than just the ordinary Reiki. This is much more than just a typical Reiki manual that you might download from the internet.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, my goal is to get the information out to as many people as we can, and not just people that know Reiki or understand Reiki, but someone that just might be walking along the bookstore and going, my inner gift. I have a gift? It's like, yes, we all have a gift. And we call it Reiki, but it is, what you bring in with Reiki is yours. Your own divine essence, and sharing that with others, sharing that love with others. So I see Reiki as a generic term for healing, but it's way beyond that when we take it on our own personal way.
Well, that's great. Now, are there any parting words for our audience?
Just keep exploring, keep loving, be compassionate.
Thank you very much.
You bet.